right, guys, today's the day. I've got my carbon fiber hatch. It is now clear coated, top and bottom. It is ready for install. It was dry carbon when I first got it. I will post the pictures of that on here. Now I've got it clear coated with a UV protectant, and we're gonna be taking on my C06, and the goal is to put carbon fiber, carbon fiber, carbon fiber, carbon fiber, and then all to the top, the whole top of the car carbon fiber. On one of my previous videos, we already converted these pieces to carbon fiber. This piece here is already a part of this hatch, and we are going to just install this hatch. So that's going to be this video for today. I do have some instructions from the GM service manual, and we will get started. All right, here we go. All right, so first things first, we are going to go ahead and take off all of our trim pieces. We can do that while it's off, but I figured since it's already setting up, it'd probably be easier to just do it on here. And then you've got wiring that connects to your defrost. I'm gonna disconnect those. There's a harness that goes up through here, so the camera piece has to pop off. That has to be disconnected to be able to get this harness completely off. These pieces just slide off and pop down. And then we're gonna be getting rid of our struts and our strut assembly. It's gonna be using a prop rod to save weight. They do have the harness for it if you do wanna use your factory. But I figured I could probably save the weight and just do a prop bar that's gonna hit here and then hit the latch, being carbon fiber. And that way I can just pull it up, latch it, set it down. That's gonna be my goal. And I'm gonna save the weight of having these strut towers, which are already pretty light because they're from Paragon. And then also these Seat Rally, I'll be saving those coming off the car too. So that'll be additional weight that'll be saved. I'm hoping for 20 pounds, but after feeling this top, I'm not sure. I mean, it is light because it's carbon fiber, it's a big piece. But that being said, this thing's gonna have to be pretty heavy. 20 pounds is a lot. So I feel like maybe Anderson's, what they specify on their website is maybe a little optimistic, but we're gonna find out. So, all right, stay tuned. So now we're gonna get started. We're gonna pop everything off. Here we go. All right, step one, thanks to RSC's recommendation, we got our little towel down to catch the bolts. We got 9 on this side, 9 on that side. These are T25s. We can take all of those off. All right, so the defrost pieces just disconnect, give a push pin, and they slide down, and then these all are gonna pop off. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and take off all these bolts to this piece while I've got it up. There's a bunch of them. All right, so now we're gonna unhook our camera piece, and this is before we gotta take the window out. This will be a lot easier because I've just had this off, so this should pop off pretty easy. You just kind of work your side to side kind of deal. I wanna crack it. All right, so in this connector, basically you're gonna undo your lock pin, push the tab, and then the little transmitter piece is going to disconnect. So, and these little pieces slide in, so they all slide in there, so they're gonna come out whenever you take it down. So that's why those are off of there. All right, so now we got that off. We're probably gonna have to take this gasket off too. And so in this gasket, it kind of pulls out. You can keep it intact. I've got some gasket sealer, so we're gonna keep this one intact and swap it over to the other. All right, so next step, paint everything or tape everything off, and then we gotta pull this seal. I bought a kit to do all this to kind of get the window trim stuff. It's just off of eBay, pretty cheap. I'm not gonna be using it professionally, so it comes with your wire setup, and it's got a cool tool that you can use to kind of pop things loose. So anyway, so pop a corner off, and then you got to get your trim seal. I will say, if you're doing this window removal, Carlos from Nuhorizons has a really good video about how to do this using heat gun, and it's just very, very thorough, has all your tools that you need. So I'm gonna link that in here. It's gonna be better than anything I'll do as far as with regards to this window removal. So I'm gonna pull this trim off, and then we're gonna start working our way on the corners to get all this loose. There's 4 tabs evidently that have to come off. Evidently it sounds like it's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm gonna try to do it without a heat gun, but I suspect I'm probably gonna end up having to get one. But for right now, I'm gonna see how far I can get without one, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, stay tuned. All right, you'll need something to kind of grab this thing, because you can't really grab the corners per se. They're under your fingers, so suction works best. I luckily have one of these already for my bikes, and this is an off-label use for this, but it should do the same thing. All right, I didn't have to use glue. I did use the hairdryer for a second, but now I've got everything mostly loose, but the corners are sticking. The tabs are, I don't think it's getting in deep, especially on these corners, so I'm gonna have to run the wire through it, unfortunately. So I had to whip that out, and that came with the tool set. So we'll just see how this works. All right, so the biggest pain is the corners for whatever reason. Everything else just comes off pretty easily. It's just getting to these like corner mount points, which is the biggest pain. And you wouldn't think that you would need all this wiring that this comes with, but you break these pretty easily. They don't take a lot of attention before they crack. Okay, so big problem points are the corners. All 4 corners where the lock tabs are. I had to get up in there, really get to it good, and use the wire brush, and then ultimately then it finally comes off the tabs, and then the hard part's just getting it off the tab there. You don't want to break them if you can avoid it. Okay, so once it's off, you have to pull off all with a razor blade. And also, I didn't realize, but I actually popped these tabs. So I'm gonna have to remount those in the points and then test fit it. So all these trim pieces are gonna have to come with a razor blade. So I'm gonna spend time doing that. I won't put that on camera just because it's very tedious. So just basically cleaning your mating surface like you would anything else. And that's gonna be the next step. So we'll get started. All right, so once you've got it nice and sanded down, I use 600 grit. These are not recommendations, it's just what I did. Get all the side pieces off, sand it down. Now we're gonna remount. I'm gonna take this down, I'm just keeping it there as a template. Tip of the old one back on. So I'm gonna sand this, and I'm gonna re-glue just like my other piece, and then we're gonna do a test fit. And then like I said, I hit the corners and everything. It's just slightly sanded it just so it's got a good adhesion surface. So now we're gonna do a test fit with our tabs first. That's gonna be my next step. So I'm gonna mount these tabs. All right, so I'm no expert, but I did sand down the corners where everything's gonna adhere, and then lay down some adhesion promoter. So I've got like 600 grit, just give it a good bounding surface for this windshield, since that's not metal that it's going to. And then I'm gonna, of course, primer that first. We're gonna do a test fit. I'm gonna put the seal on it, and once I got the seal on it, I'll be ready to lay it down, but it's really a 2-person job, honestly. I might be able to do it, but from the center, we'll see. But right now, I'm just getting everything prepped. All right, so test fit looks good. Anderson came through, that's like spot on. So now we're gonna take this off. I'm gonna put my outer trim window seal around the corners. And I've got basically for that, some trim adhesive that I'll be using. I'll post that on the screen. And then also I've got some polyurethane, basically, this is an adhesive as well for the windshield, and that's going to go around. And I have a Milwaukee electric gun, and then I'll be using that to push it evenly across through instead of manually just pushing and pumping. Found that those are a lot easier. It's basically one of those electric caulk guns. So we'll get started. This is my weather strip adhesive. We're gonna use this, take the original seal, run it along the corners, and then I'll have that set, and then it'll be ready to set on with just our main caulk. All right, so I did some practice runs. I've got some adhesive promoter, and then we're gonna lay down, and then we're gonna go ahead and lay this down and strip through, and then I'll practice a little bit here. So just gonna have that on my side. All right, here we go. All right, so this part's a little more difficult. So it's got 4 bolts that mount up here, 2 on the inside and 2 on the bracket on the bottom. You can either take that piece off and disconnect the bracket and set it off, or you can disconnect the bolts. What I found is easiest is if you use a 13 millimeter box end that's got the ratchet style that pivots, and that'll get into these bolts. I've already got one out now, and I've disconnected one arm. I'm gonna take this loose, and I'm gonna go ahead and weigh these, because you can either choose to install these pieces or not. They recommend that you don't, because you risk cracking the carbon fiber over time, because these are designed for a heavier weight, and so it's a lot of pressure. And I'm obviously doing this for weight loss reasons. So for that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and take these off. I'm gonna see what weight savings we get just for taking these off, and then kind of go from there. And then I'm gonna need a helper, unfortunately, to get this down. I don't know a good way to do this without risking damaging my car solo. I could probably find a way, but I think I'm just gonna have to get a helper, unfortunately. Okay, so those with the bolts, this is lighter actually than stock because it's C8 rally drivers, and these are lighter than stock too. So you have stock setup, you're gonna save even more weight. These are 2 pounds combined. So multiply that times 2, that's 4 pounds right there just from these assemblies. And if you have stock, you're gonna be probably 6, 7 pounds you're gonna save just from this. And also I realized I've kind of made a mistake. I've installed that windshield before I weighed the stock hatch. So when I compare these, it's gonna be one with a windshield, one without. So that's gonna be difficult. I gotta find the weight of the stock windshield in order to get an accurate weight loss of this hatch, which is kind of unfortunate. I didn't think about that first, but anyways. Okay, so we're gonna try to get a quick weight. We're gonna use myself, and I'm gonna hold this as our total weight. So I'm 160. 165.3. All right, now I'm gonna pick this up with the glass. $197.5. 197.5. All right, this is my attempt at getting this off solo. My plan is to disconnect here, have it pivot on these pieces. I'm still gonna have tension over there, disconnect the third one, and then it'll be still held up by the strut, and then just pop the strut off as it tilts down, and then carry it that way. That's my plan. So we'll see if this works. I'm filming in case this goes wrong. But this is the tool I was talking about. The ratchet that flips. All right, she's done. So I'm gonna use a carbon fiber prop rod to prop it up. I'm gonna order a custom one that's just direct length to fit, and it's just gonna prop on the hatch, and this is super light. It's like 200 grams or something. A couple things, I had one bolt hole that didn't line up. Everything else lined up fine. The other thing is, if you wanted to run the struts, there's provisions for it. I have a feeling they'd probably be fine, especially the Paragon ones. They're pretty light. I don't feel like they're putting any extra force on there. I had one bolt that didn't line up on my little bracket under here. That was the only thing that I had to do any different. And then also too, there's two connectors to the defrost that on the other OEM it has a push in, these don't. But that's kind of like not even a big deal. So I'm gonna show you how it works and how we set it. So it's got the custom grab handle put down, you've got your Anderson composite set up. And so what I will do, so I'm gonna have to hold this, and you're gonna lift up, set it down, and then it locks down just like you normally would. And then the body alignment is really good. I've got to adjust the height a little bit. It's a little low. They've got little turn tabs. You can auto level this. So, but as far as actual fitment, I mean, you can't really beat it. Everything, and then all the RSC stuff fit in there perfectly. The weaves look pretty dang good as far as like the matching. It's not the exact matching direction per se, but not anything super noticeable in my opinion. So overall, like, I feel like this turned out really good. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll get some good final shots when I get the car cleaned up. It's nice and dirty, but that's it. So no surprises, pretty easy peasy, expensive unit, but I'm happy with it. And that's about it. So we'll get some final views. So just keep in mind with the car, you're gonna see this. I might do something later with the rest of it. I'm not sure yet. This, I've already got this piece ordered. I'm waiting on this piece. I got to order this. I'm trying to find the best deal that I can find on this. But this piece is coming. So imagine all of that's carbon fiber. And then as you go up the car, carbon fiber, all the way to the back, to the spoiler, everything carbon fiber. So that's like been the plan this whole time. I dropped off over 20 pounds with this setup. If you keep the struts, you're gonna drop about 18 pounds. It's very pricey, but I like it. So the best part of the car, it's from the top of the car. And if you are doing any road racing, if you're not gonna change your unsprung weight, which is your biggest benefit, next biggest benefit is the top of the car, because it keeps the center of gravity low. So this would be the best places to lose weight. So now I've lost 20 pounds here, a pound and a half or something here. I think this was 5 pounds, and I think this was like 2 pounds or something on the hood. So all in all, about 30 pounds off the top of the car, and that's not including these pieces, which we'll see here later. So, and then I've got to do the mirrors too, which I have over here. So that'll be in an upcoming video. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys on the flip side. Motor easy.